All right, here we are. Upon request of a wrap-up show, we're going to, no editing, no takes. It's going to be a lot of stumbling and bumbling.
Yeah.
And I'm here with Rob Samoji.
Dennis Brew.
And so we're going to talk about the Hump Day show.
Well, let's start where we are first, I think, so we tell people where we are and set the background. We're at Lcrc, which is
in Oakland Mills,
Pennsylvania. I would have to perfectly say that's one of the best tracks on the East Coast for sure.
For sure, this side of Mississippi.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. And they're having it's called the Mugen Challenge, and it draws in some big racers, and racing gets really, really good. So we're looking forward to that. And what they do on Wednesday nights, they run a happy Hump Day happy hour type thing, and the night before the Mugen, well, any race actually, they have a
go every Wednesday.
Yeah, every Wednesday have it, but if it's race weekend, like coming up on the weekend now, they do it outside on the track. And jokingly, I text Krista saying that Dennis wanted to do an interview.
Which I didn't. I said, what did you write that for? What did you say that for? I don't want to do an interview. They're going to think that I want to do an interview. Why would you say that about me?
Hey, man, it's great because you did it. I told you, you'll be great. And what happened? You did a great job.
And then she says, we're watching it in the motorhome here. And she says, come on, Dennis. And then Rob, immediately, he gets up. He said, come on, we got to go. I said, I'm not going up there.
I told Dennis, got to get your 15 minutes of fame.
I went kicking and screaming and crying the whole way.
But it was fun. It was different.
Yeah. Yep.
Add a different dimension to the show.
So I guess we'll talk about what was said on that show.
Yeah.
And what I got was, well, we had some connection issues. We had in the motorhome. We ordered some Sal's pizza.
Yep.
We got pizza with meatballs
and two subs.
We got chicken parm and a meatball parm.
Yep.
The pizza was pretty decent, but the chicken parm was really good.
Yeah, the chicken parm was good.
And I still got the meatball parm left for about 2:30 a.m. when I get up in the middle of the night, right? You eat in the middle of the night?
No, hell no.
What do you mean, no?
No. It's not good on my girly figure.
Can you believe that this guy is he's a ref for lacrosse?
Lacrosse and wrestling.
Lacrosse and wrestling. But lacrosse, if you're a ref, you've got to run up and down the field. There's no way that I picture Samoji being able to run up and down the field. If he didn't run up and down the field as a referee, Samoji'd be 350 pounds without a doubt.
Listen, it's rubberized steel. You know, yeah. It's not fat, it's rubberized steel.
Well, we're getting away from the subject.
Yeah, we are.
So what were we talking about again?
Well, Hump Day.
So what did we get out of it?
Well, I got out of the fact that we're starting pretty early tomorrow morning, and considering my rig is parked right next to the track, that'll be my alarm clock tomorrow morning. So
I'll put my nitro car right below your bedroom window and rev it up.
It's not going to really matter because when you got 5 of them sitting over there in pit road revving up, it doesn't matter. But
well, that's the price you pay for living so close to the track. He's got the best. The best part about Samoji being at the track is he's directly across from the stones where you stand on this 1 through 13, and so every time I go up there and it's hot. He's got a canopy, shade, and almost all the time there's an open chair. There's an open chair. He probably says, "Well, this guy just go away." Everybody comes over here and sits in my chairs.
We purposely listen. We purposely set chairs out, so people from the back made a long walk up, and they want to cool off a bit. We got the fan and the chair for them. Yeah, it's there for whoever wants to use it. That's it.
It's really good. It took me a couple of years to figure out. I'm standing on the stones like a jerk, sweating, waiting for my turn. And I'll say another thing. Is it just me, or when you're in the stand, you do about 2 laps and they're like 1 minute left?
Yeah, it goes
quick. And now, when you're on the stones, you're like, there's no way that's 5 minutes. They got to be going on for 7, 8, 9 minutes. But it's 5 minutes, but it seems like it's a lot longer.
And especially if you're crashing all the time, right, Dennis? It's hard to get around.
Well, yeah. How about you do a half a lap and there's no marshals out there or something? You got to run down there. Or you just sit there waiting. Maybe somebody will take
You know what I thought about for a Mugen Challenge? I think they should go to the high school and look for a couple volunteers and pay them like $20 or whatever a person for a couple hours and just let the high school kids run around. The wrestlers and the football players, they got to get in shape anyway. Yeah. So, Maybe a couple rests if they have them in the area.
Well, they'd have to have some kind of. I know the insurance waiver would be.
Yeah,
you know,
probably.
they'd have like they could put some kind of martial games or martial training.
Yeah,
Can you
something.
see? Okay, run and touch this line. Okay, flip the car over.
Hey, so some of you guys don't know when you come here, there's a couple kids here. It started with one kid, but I think there's another one now, and I wish I remember his name, but he hands out flyers and says that this race. What is it?
Oh no! There's a couple kids and they're going to be ruling the world.
Yeah.
And I hope that they hire me in my retirement. But they put together an idea that if you don't want to marshal, we'll marshal for you.
Yeah.
And they were charging, the first time they were charging 50 cents a minute. So it was $2.50 for a heat and $5 for a 10-minute main. And they did good. And the next month they came back and it was just $1 a minute. I mean, these kids are making $60 an hour. Cash money.
Yep.
And let me tell you, I give up about, I don't know, $145. I haven't marshaled in 3 races. Not one race.
Yeah, they're getting paid $1 a minute.
Yeah,
so.
$1 a minute. So these kids are smart and they got you and they don't screw it up. They're
good.
Have a sign-up
They're
sheet.
good at marshalling. I've seen them. They're pretty good.
I wish I knew his name. And then in April they came around in the opener, the
season
Flashpoint opener, and they had just a piece of paper that they wrote down their name and text me. They wanted you to text. Then they came out with like a 4x6 color card that says, what did it say? I wish I had it. It's in my OGO bag.
They had a good. It was a good tagline of some sort. I forget what it was.
But
it was good.
So they got a good business going, and I make sure I get them my money first because there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
So you don't want to get beat to the punch where you go to get marshaled, and they already got their slot filled up.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't want to be out there marshaling.
So I just give them all the money tomorrow as soon as I see them. I just pay them. I say, look, I'm first, so I got the money in first. But what we learned is the track goes the other way.
Ask Dennis about that one.
So I'm looking at the track and I'm like, wow, that off camber going up the hill off camber, like how is that ever going to work? And I'm looking at it, and Rob was looking at it from his perch. If anybody knows Rob Samoji, him and Dawson, they perch themselves down the first section of ramp where it straightens out before you then turn and go down the ramp and off the stand. They watch every race. They just walk the races they want to watch. They walk straight up the ramp and they just sit there and watch it. Yeah. And every time I'm about to start my race, what do they do?
Go, Dennis!
I said, come on, man. I was calm.
We're watching you.
I was doing my deep breathing exercises. I was trying to get into a Zen place, stop my hands from shaking, and then they just ruin it every time. Yep. So he was looking at the track from his perch, and he's watching me. Look, the way I'm looking, he knows. This idiot hasn't figured out that the track is going the other way. So when I started looking at it, I said, okay, leave me alone. Now I have to look at the track. So it made much more sense going the other way. Yeah. And I know there are rumors that I heard on the last hump day, last week, that possibly for the cancer race, maybe they'll keep the same layout, make some modifications to it.
I think they're going to put it like one of those crossover things where you go under it and then loop around and come back over top of it. I think they're going to do something like that.
Do you lose your car when that happens?
No, because you're going straight and then it's looping around and it's coming back over top of it. And they build like a wooden platform, and you can jump off of it. It's pretty cool. So no matter how fast or how slow you go, you can still.
So you don't lose your car anywhere?
No, and underneath he put LED lights under there, so it's pretty cool to watch a car go through there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know how long ago, maybe 2 years ago. I don't want to say because I don't know, but that was really, really cool. And rumor is that Kevin's got that hiding around here somewhere. So I'd like to see that again. That would be pretty cool.
They were talking about a feature that they were going to put in that was in years ago, like way back when. I guess that feature didn't.
I don't know what that feature is.
It didn't make it in.
Yeah, I don't know what that feature is, so I can't say if it did make it in.
Well, I didn't see anything that looked like it was out of the norm type of stuff.
nothing.
So it probably didn't go in. Maybe he's saving it for the cancer race.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Because that cancer race is going to be another big race, I believe. So we'll see what happens with that one.
But the other thing we got out of tonight was that there's tables now in the pit lane area, and I think that's pretty smart because, like, if it's 1 through 7, and then 7 through 14, I would think that the way that the pit guys, everybody's close to the guys that are standing on the blocks, and when it's their turn to go, I think it's pretty good that there's some order to how they're lined up. So 1 through 7 kind of go out.
Yep.
And then the second line
and just so you guys know, if you've been here, you're going up the ramp and then racing, and when you're done, you go down the steps. Before you used to go up the steps, race, and then walk down the ramp.
I've never seen it where we went up the ramp.
When I think I was here the first time, I think they did something backwards, and that was interesting. We were still green, we were still rookies, so we didn't really know. We thought that's just the way it went, and then all of a sudden they flipped the track, which is quote unquote the right way. So I guess it really doesn't matter. I mean, once you start driving, it really, it doesn't really matter. But pit road should be interesting because when you got to think about when they pit, your gas tank's not on the same side; it's now on the outside.
Yeah.
So when you bring the car in, you got to turn around in order to fill it, or take your gun, and if you can reach, if you're able to do it.
Listen, now that you're talking about pitting, we're going to take the opportunity to pitch the greatest thing since sliced bread that has hit the nitro racing industry, and it's called Pit Caddy.
Pit Caddy,
I'm Pit Caddy. It's called Nitro Caddy. I got it wrong.
Pit Caddy, Nitro, but it's made to. It's a caddy that's made for pitting.
Nitro Caddy. There were years. There was a time where they would start their nitro cars with a handheld wheel, and then somebody came up with the starter box, right? And now it's like you don't race nitro without a starter box,
right?
And listen, I got into nitro racing this year. It's my 4th year racing, and I watch everybody carrying the starter box in their right hand up in the air with the car running. The car is vibrating on the starter box, and the wheel is spinning, and it scared me a little bit.
And sometimes you're truggy. Your tires, depending where you have it sitting down, sitting down on the ground, you might, end up kicking up stones or God only knows what. But it's nice.
So anyhow, and then it's just like lugging a pit bag in your left hand and the car in your right hand, and you're trying to hold the pit bag and rev the car. Yeah, there's got to be an easy way to do it.
Doing one of these with the car, and it's going like this every time because you can't tell when the driver's revving because you're already beyond him and you're walking to the pit stand and he's revving. And all of a sudden it's going like this, and you got to hold on to it. Some guys, they don't even have handles or nothing on the things. And
now, if you want to race nitro, you need a starter box. It's just there's no more of that wheel thing, and I don't know how long it's going to take, but there's going to be a time where you want to race nitro, you need a nitro caddy,
right?
Because you could carry everything in one hand, everything's organized. I'm a mess on my pit table. Like, I'm trying, like Will Walker has been giving me, a lot, talking to me about the importance of being organized.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
he's very thorough, too. He's a thorough guy.
Yeah, Will helped me so much. He helped me with diffs, building diffs the right way.
Why don't you tell him who he is first, because so many people might...
Will Walker?
Right.
Will Walker is the greatest guy on this side of Mississippi, just like this track. But Will pits for Ryan Lutz, and he's just all around great guy, and he served our country, so we give him props for that.
And he's very proud of that too. Very, very proud guy.
Yeah,
loves it.
And he's just a really good guy.
Yeah,
and so
and he's very approachable. Very approachable.
Yeah, he wants everybody to have fun, and I put a lot of work and effort into racing, and but I didn't have a lot of people that really showed me things, and I've always raced like I built the car. And for the first 2 years, I built a car. I never touched a camber adjustment. I never touched toe in. I had toe in. I had positive camber. I learned to drive the car all whacked out. And people look at me and look at my car and say, "What's your?"
You can drive it like that when it's good. You should be able to drive it perfectly.
So Will, took last month's race, no, I think it was 2 months ago. I think he spent 4 or 5 hours with me, just showing me, this is how you do shocks. Yeah. This is how you do diffs and tricks of the trade and getting organized. And all
I remember that because I walked over and I was sitting there listening to you ask questions. He was, not only was he thorough with the question, but if you didn't understand it, he still somehow explained it in another way that you can comprehend it. Yep. He doesn't talk above you, with all these fancy words. He's very, he's right to the point, which is good, and he talks to you in layman's terms. He doesn't try to talk above you.
And he talks a lot about the guys that taught him.
Yeah, he does.
And like when you're building a diff, and you put some of the fluid in, then you drop the gears in, you let it sit, then you fill it up, and just before you're going to close it, you put that gear on the top. And everybody knows you wipe off the excess with your thumb, but I never thought about taking out the excess that is in that little cavity in the gear where the pin goes into.
Right.
I never did that. And he'll say stuff like, "You take this little stuff out, so Buddy has a home. He's nice and comfortable." He talks to you like that. So I thought it was just.
He has a funny way of putting things. It's kind of funny. So.
Nice, and he's real calm when he explains it too. So.
Speaking of people around the track, I mean, Kevin, the owner of Lcrc, and along with his wife Krista, but. Kevin, he's another one. He's full wealth of information, but unfortunately, it's hard to pin him down and ask him questions because, he's too busy running the track. He's got one hell of a job. But
Kevin's the last guy I want to ask a question because Kevin has probably answered 930,000 questions, and the last thing he needs is somebody asking him this stupidest, most obvious question. Well, like if I'm gonna ask Kevin a question, it better be a good question.
Listen, I remember when my son and I, Dawson, when we started out, I didn't really know who to go to. I didn't know who to talk to, but man, Kevin, he did help us out. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he may have been busy, but he always took the time to get you the information. He may he may not tell you right now, but he's like, give me a moment or two or whatever, and he makes sure he follows up with you, and he's pretty good. He's tremendous. He brought Dawson and I a long way in the RC business. So I like it. I shouldn't say he's the only one, but you don't have to be an associated driver to get your question answered. You can go to anybody pretty much and get your answers. If you're looking for setups and tricks, then maybe you might go to that car manufacturer that you're running. But other than that, anybody pretty much can probably help you out. So,
how about what I kind of like is there's no BS. Like track has some rules, and those are the rules.
And Kevin is like that. So
racing at LCRC, I have to say, has it's made it sometimes difficult to race other places because it's so aggravating. Little things like
coming here and enjoying it and going somewhere else.
Number the cones. Number the cones. So when there's a marshal missing, immediately who it is.
Right.
And you go other places and they're not numbered. And marshaling, I think, has got to be the single most destructive thing to this sport as far as enjoying the racing experience. I don't see what's so hard about put your car down and go out to marshal.
Well, the problem is there's other people that they're up in 2 more races and they think they got to get back to their pits and switch around cars and everything. But I mean, if you plan accordingly, get your things set up, get it ready to go, and if you have to take a walk, you bring everything with you.
If that's the case, ahead of time, because there's times where you're racing and then you're up like the next race back to back, or you have one race in between and you got to start the nitro. So you have to think ahead and get somebody to help you. I mean, people are willing to help you, that are around the track.
Well, listen, I could say, for example, is if my kid's back to back, I put him up there with whatever he's racing. If he's running nitro, I'll tell him, hey, it's no big deal. As soon as the race is over, I can run over and get your electric car and go. But if it's the other way around, where we're running electric and he needs his nitro started up, normally what I'll do is I'll get him set up, get him started, and hang out with him a little bit, talk to him on the track, let him know what's going on and stuff. But when it comes down to like the last 3 minutes or so, I'll go back and, we've already pre-warmed up the car already, but those 3 minutes, it fires right up and, you can get it warmed up and get it to him. And, and I just yell up to him. I say, hey, flip your channel. And as soon as he flips his channel, then I know to throw the car on. So.
Is it true that every time that Dawson breaks, he blames you.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's like,
Listen, has anybody see the way Dawson drives? That kid is balls to the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, full throttle. If there's any kind of jump on the track, he's going to try to like triple it or whatever where nobody else is. And then he comes back and Dad gets in front of it. Well, if you would have built this right. Oh, it's funny.
Oh yeah, he does. Listen, Dawson's come a long way. I mean, he only knew one thing, and that was squeeze the trigger and hope for the best. But he's learning what the brake is because I see him always adjusting his brakes either manually or on the radio. So, and that's something I can't give him because that's his own personal touch. So he's learning to use the brakes. It's kind of funny because even at the last race, he had so much front brake in his one car that he's going down the straight and he hit the brake and the car was riding up on the front two wheels just because he was carrying so much speed going down and he had to make some adjustments.
Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room here, and I don't mean anything about your size or anything like that.
No, you're bigger than me.
But slightly.
I think I'm the fly on your ass.
Listen, Samoji is coming out of retirement. And, I've asked him a million times, how come you're not racing? And he says, my depth perception, I just can't do it. So he is coming out of retirement, and he is going to race the Oval on Friday night. And I pray to God that he makes the feature because I think it's going to be the funniest thing when he gets in the race leader's way and crashes the race leader.
Hey, look, I'm going to be honest. It's out there. I think last year it was a really good race. Because,
did you race last year?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, man.
Did you made the main?
Yeah, made it out there.
Wow.
It was funny because we were running each other over. Drake's running me over. I'm running. I want to stay out of the way of Drake because obviously the guy can drive. So I'm trying to stay the hell. And no matter what I do to get out of the way, he's just like. And I'm like, okay, whatever, just go,
I'll tell you what, that race is something.
It draws such a crowd.
It's the atmosphere is like, because it's a small oval, and it's just packed with people.
Oh yeah.
And we had a pickup truck backed up to the right of the driver's stand.
See, I miss all this going too busy driving.
So we had the pickup truck. There was like 8 of us in the bed of the pickup truck. Because we were a little bit elevated, and there's also the element of danger of a car flying off the
Drake
track.
Did that, I think not last year, but the year before, he flew off. He came down the front stretch and flew straight across the thing, went down the hill into the playground.
I think there's a net in front of the stands,
they have a
right?
chain link fence up there, yeah.
But I think the atmosphere is like that of a UFC fight or something like that. Cause
it's a circus.
It's like everybody at the whole track is packed into like this small area, and the atmosphere. I mean,
everybody's cheering and carrying on.
Yeah, I remember last year that the temperature at 7:00 in August, it was just like perfect.
Yep.
It's like when what do we got? We got
Johnny's walking out, I think.
Was that Johnny?
I think it was.
Or it was Patrick.
Oh, I don't know.
So, and we'll take a minute to. We got a new podcast that's going to come up.
Yeah, I'll let him explain that to you.
Yeah, so we're going to do this one. We're going to do like Krista suggested to us that we do something like the after podcast,
post Wednesday night thing.
Yeah, so we could talk about what we heard and what the track is like for us, and maybe some things that they didn't cover on there. Yeah, that us as racers think about. But we got another podcast that's coming up. It's called the B Main Podcast, and the B Main Podcast is purpose is to, 98% of the racers never even touch the podium.
Yeah,
and I think that it's about time some of us lowly drivers get some airtime and some interview time and some maybe documentary time. Maybe we do something. But I think it's going to be like on the lighter side of it because, trying to get from a beginner to the podium, there's so many mistakes that you make, and it's hilarious, like not gluing tires or forgetting to tighten your wheel nuts or stupid stuff.
Or punching holes in your tire and the tire's ballooning.
Yeah, or how about I put the diffs in backwards. Yeah. I rebuilt my diffs all night long. I was like up all night. I got the car perfect. I never turned it on to try it, so my B main, and I'm like, I got the feeling like there's no way I'm not bumping to the A main because like my times and I was starting third. I was confident. I put my wife Elena puts the car on pit lane, and they say roll them out. I hit the gas, the car goes backwards. I put the diffs in backwards, and there was nothing I can do about it. I couldn't change it in the amount of time that.
Maybe you could just drove backwards.
Listen.
If they don't say.
So we're talking about stuff like that is constantly happening to me.
Yeah, when you do goofy things, we want to know about. And
so I think it'll be a lighter side of racing, but definitely. At the same time, we want to give some respect to the guys that are trying to get there.
Yeah.
And, we're probably going to get some guys that get there.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll have the footage of when they were fucking up.
Yeah. Can't say it on YouTube.
Can't say that. Bleep that out.
He didn't say that.
So, what else do we got for the wrap-up show?
Pretty much, what we pretty much covered. I know we're babbling on here, but, it's our first time. And, we'll pick up things here and there, and hopefully get some interviews with some of the rookie kids, little kids, 13 years old. See what they have to say, and then some like us older guys, plus 40 class and all in between. So just see what they say, and if they break something, we'll ask them, hey, why did you think you broke? Just to see what they say. Oh, well, maybe they'll tell us that they forgot to do something, and that's something a reminder to anybody that's coming into the sport or that has been into the sport.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe we can help them not make some of them stupid mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I'm going to make them regardless. So, what else we got to talk about?
I don't know. I think we pretty much. We're doing this 26 minutes. I think we hit a little bit of everything. So,
all right. So,
hopefully, it's informative. And
so, what are we calling this show? The Hump Day. It's the Hump Day wrap up show.
Yeah, I guess. So pretty much on. I guess it's going to be pretty much on our race weekend, right?
Yeah, probably pretty much on a race weekend.
Because I'm in Pennsylvania, he's in New York, so
New Jersey
or New Jersey. But
so what? Unless
we hook up somewhere else.
But could you imagine that all of a sudden we get like 9 times more views than the Hump Day Happy Hour?
I think we can make that happen.
They'll do the wrap up to the wrap up. I highly doubt that. We don't even have that fancy little light.
Yeah, I know, right? Look, it looks great.
Yeah,
it's just shine from my head helps.
Yeah, well, I got a little.
Oh my God, I saw a picture. How old were you in that picture?
Which one?
Should
I show the
picture?
No. We'll show that on the next one. I was 36.
Damn, this guy was all jacked, man. You just seen him. He was like...
I look like a criminal.
Well,
Anywho.
Someone has got to look at something.
Well, I'm... So, all right. I guess that's the show. 27 minutes, 41 seconds. Yeah. We babbled. That was pretty good. It didn't seem to be like...
we'll see if we can get some maybe 30-second minute interviews from some new people and just add on to it maybe. See where it takes us. Try everything.
All right. Special thanks to Krista for inspiring us to do that.
Absolutely.
Rob was like, so after we came off the recording stand, I says, well, I guess we got to do that. I says, come on, Rob. He was ready to go to sleep. I says, no. We're doing this. Let's see what happens. He says, we're going to edit. I says, no, it's just going to be as it is.
As it is.
And amazingly,
7 o'clock comes
I'll tell you, I got a new respect for Kevin and
yeah.
Krista, because we've been doing that for 28 minutes, and I'm just at about the point where I feel like I'm just going to start babbling and not make it.
Write nothing down.
Can you imagine having to do that? Yeah, but can you imagine having to do that twice as long as what we just did? 28 minutes seemed like 2 hours.
Yeah, it's a long time.
So,
Yeah, it's good. It circles back to what we first started talking about. You're out on the track for 5 minutes, and it's usually like you're only out there for 1 minute.
Oh, yeah.
So it circles back away. So.
Yep.
But, hey, anybody watching this, if you have any comments, suggestions, drop them and see what we can do to help you guys out, get you some information.
All right. Adios.
All right, guys. Take care.
Bye.